Hello everyone. Welcome to the Azure fundamentals and the key features and have a great day. Thank you so much those who are joining the session and welcome to all of you. So today we have the lots of surprises, lots of sessions, the different I mean Microsoft MVP, our Dan. So he's from the Chicago and one of my colleague, so Mr. Mohammed, so he's from Evident as a associate consultant, and Mr. Frank, he's from Ireland, so he's also MCT and everything that he can explain the lots of stuff. And today we can discuss about lots of things today. So now we can discuss about the Frank. Will you please go ahead and explain about the sessions and every day? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, can you put my slide up there then?
Sure. There
Hi
you go.
everyone. My name is Frank Falvey and I'm from Cork in Ireland. Um, I worked in the IT industry over 20 years for large enterprise like EMC, Dell. Um, I have MCT certification, MCP certified, and I've got the Azure Expert certification and a few other ones there you can see down the end. So today I'm going to do a piece on disaster recovery in with Microsoft Azure. So it's how to protect your business with Azure Site Recovery. So let's move on to the next one. So this is kind of give you an outline there of the presentation. I'm going to just give you an introduction to Azure Site Recovery, understanding disaster recovery and business continuity, Azure Site Recovery features and capabilities, Azure Site Recovery deployment options, best practices for Azure Site Recovery, real world cases, and I have a nice demo towards the end to show you some live disaster cyber attacks happening live as we're online. And then we have any questions and answers then to follow. So an introduction to Azure Site Recovery. Azure Site Recovery is a powerful and comprehensive disaster recovery solution offered by Microsoft as part of its Azure cloud platform. It enables businesses to protect, recover their on-premises virtual machines, virtual servers, and even an entire data center in the event of a disaster or outage. Um, with Azure Site Recovery, organizations can ensure business continuity to minimize downtime and to maintain resilience of their critical applications and data. Like we all know, disaster can strike at any time, be it a natural disaster, hardware failure, or even human error. Traditional disaster recovery approaches often involves complex and costly infrastructure investments, making it challenging for businesses to maintain a robust and scalable recovery solutions. However, Azure Site Recovery simplifies the disaster recovery process by providing a cloud-based solution that eliminates the need for physical secondary data centers. I'll explain more as we go along in the slides to make it easier for people. So yeah, so this part here is understanding the disaster recovery and business continuity. The first part here, the pre-disaster, when everybody is happy, everything is working away, and next then an event happens, either a hardware failure or somebody hits the wrong button, and then you're in trouble. could be anything from somebody clicking a link and setting off some malware that a ransomware attack or something like that anyway. So if you're lucky, you're in the first part of the disaster recovery, short term, which you could just get fixed in a couple of minutes, or else it could take a couple of weeks. But the other part here, then the intermediate recovery, could take you weeks to months to get back up into business. So like this is all costing a lot of money if you're kind of up, if it's going to take this long to recover your business. And even the other part in, which is months to years to recover. um like we had a scenario here in Ireland where the health ministry got ransomware attacks, so the whole country couldn't access their medical records. And that happened about 1 year ago, and even today some of the services are not back up and running. So it's very important, you know, to understand disaster recovery. So this is the kind of layout of the features and capabilities of the Azure portal. So over here on the left is, this could be your on-premises environment, or else it could be another cloud environment. And over here then is the target environment. This is where we're going to actually back up our on-premises. We've said this is our on-premises here, and we want to just back it up over onto this one here. So up on the top part here, this is where your credentials and your logins are, everything here, so as you can actually access it. So it's not actually stored on your on premises, it's in a total different part in the Azure portal called Azure Vault. So it keeps all your keys and all that kind of stuff in there. So if you had a ransomware attack over here and you want to use your backup over here, you could just log in up here and you can tell the target environment that you actually backed up, this is going to be your primary backup. So you're actually back online within minutes. So like for here, I'm in Ireland, and if you want to, we have three sites in Dublin, which is part of the, I'll show you on the next slide here, actually would be better, the different regions. So this part here is the different deployment options. So you can have over here your private cloud, which is your on-premises to Azure, or you can have any cloud. So you could have AWS backing up onto Azure, or you could have Azure backing up onto AWS, or else Azure to Azure. So this is the one I'm actually talking about, Azure to Azure. So I'm in Northern Europe, so I would back up to Western Europe, which is in Holland. So just go on to the next slide. So yeah, this is kind of like best practices for your Azure site recovery. So before you actually start it, you need a recovery plan. And first steps to build a disaster recovery plan, right, is to test it fully and to verify its effectiveness, and then implement it. Remember to include all relevant people, the technologies, the processes, and required to restore functionality within your service level agreement. So there's actually 4 tips I have here, right, to create a disaster recovery plan, and I can share to anybody after the show if they just want to reach out to me. I can give them all the documentation on it. So for the tips, one of them is evaluation, support, automate, and monitor. So the evaluation part is right before you create the plan, you must evaluate the business impact of your application failure and build your recovery plan around the most critical application and data. Determine the specific of a role, or like who's going to own the disaster recovery plan, someone who can oversee the aspect, including testing and automation. The other one then is support. So clearly define and write a process for contacting your support service and instructions for escalating issues. This document can help you prevent prolonged downtime that can occur simply because teams try to work out a recovery process on the fly, which is everybody is under pressure then, So having a clear document to get the plan up and running. And as I was saying there, use cross-region recovery for your mission critical application. The other one then is automate. Your plan must include a backup strategy covering all transactional and reference data. You should test backup and restoration process regularly. That's like fail over, fail back, make sure everything is working just in the event of something happened. Document all the processes, including manual steps, and automate as many tasks as possible. So you won't have too much to do. The fourth one then is monitor, right? Configure alert. So if something happens, you'll have an automated alert that will email people, text people, whatever. Train the relevant staff to execute your plan and perform regular recovery simulations, as I was saying. Test it, fail it over, fail it back, make sure everything is working. This is the kind of regions I was talking about. This is a typical Azure region. So it's made up of 3 zones, and they're typically between 50 and 100 miles apart. So if something happened like a lightning strike and there was a power outage in zone 1, your stuff is still in the other zone, so they can fail back afterwards when it comes back online. So that's a kind of typical Azure region. So just go on to the next one. So on the left is your Azure region. So when you're going to back up or replicate your on-premises or your cloud to cloud, you'd be actually failing over to the other geographical region. Like, so I'm in Ireland, I'd be failing over to Western Europe, which is Holland. So it's a big separation there. So if your on-premises site got ransomware or whatever, you could just tell the other geographical location, now you're my primary location, so that'll come online, so you're not going to be down too long. This next slide. So this will give you an idea of region peers. So they're kind of, each region has a peer. So where the arrows are there in the middle, you can see I'm in Northern Europe, and as I was saying, I was backing up to Western Europe, which is actually here. So, if you're in North Central US, you'd back up to South Central US. So I just want to share my screen there now for the demo. Second now. Share. So this is a nice little demo, as I was saying there at the start. This will show you all the live threats that are happening at the moment. So I can share the link if anybody wants this later. It's quite cool tool to see. So we can actually zoom in on it to see. You can see Russia there, all the different um, attacks coming out. Um, so over here on the left hand side, if we hover over the green part here, tells us this is on axis scan. These are all the different types of threats. On demand scans, um, mail antivirus, um, web antivirus. So all the different colors, they're all the different intrusion detection scans. They're all the scans that are actually picking up stuff. Vulnerability scan, um, Kaspersky anti-spam. This site is actually Kaspersky's site for real threat map. So this one here is the botnet activity detection. The other one then is ransomware, which is the blue one, which is very low on to see the figures here. So the biggest one there so far is intrusion detection. So as you can see that there. Just over on the left here, I'm just going to switch over to the flat version of, give you a better look at the geographical location. So it looks like there's a lot of stuff happening in China. Europe seems to be fairly popular. We just have a look at America there for land. So a lot of activity there. To show you the statistics here as well, it shows you up in the top the stats of all the different attacks. As you can see, it's per second that these attacks are actually happening. So the amount of attacks that are happening. So data sources is another one here. So it gives you, it explains what on access scan shows malware detection flows during on access scan. Example, when objects are accessed during open copy run and save operations. So this is a quite cool site for showing you all the different stuff. This is our IDS, intrusion detection scan, shows network attacks, detection flows. The other one up here, on-demand scan, shows malware detection flows during on-demand scans. When a user is manually selected, scans for viruses options in the context menu. So this one here is the mail antivirus one. Detects flows during mail antivirus scans when new objects appear in the email applications like Outlook, BAT, Thunderbird. Scans incoming messages and calls OSs when saving attachments to disks and that. So I'm not going to go through the whole lot of them. So just to give you kind of a feel for what this particular site is for. They've got widgets as well. So you can actually adjust, you can see there, the different size. So I can stretch that out to the far right and it brings it out there. Change the height of it, we'll make it higher. We have language in there, so we're using English, so we're going to leave that as is. We can change that to light, brightness. So you can see a different color there. So I'm just going to share this on the LinkedIn. Well, that's giving us actually Twitter. So seeing that we're here, we'll post it on Twitter, and everybody can find me on Twitter. So there you go. Any questions on any of that? If you want to pop them into the chat, and maybe we can answer any of those questions there later.
Looks like Dickie has a comment about VPNs.
Okay.
Let's see if there's any others. Those are the only ones I see, Frank.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want me to go ahead and get started?
Yeah, what so many people use VPNs to hide their original country. Yeah. But I think with the VPNs, if somebody has a VPN enabled, you can not allow them onto your environment. You can just block them. You know, if they don't show that where they're from. Okay, looks like my background is.
Yeah, it looks like the background stopped.
Yeah.
Okay. Frank, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here.
Okay.
And welcome everyone. If you'd like to join this live session, you can click on the QR code. Hopefully the slides are visible and you're able to see everything, but if you scan this with a phone, so I can test that here, that'll take you right into our live event, and you'll be able to see the slides and even translate the slides to a language of your choice on your mobile device. I also put in a link to this presentation in LinkedIn on the chat, so it's available there. Let's get started with Microsoft data centers and the physical infrastructure that Microsoft has. Microsoft years ago had an event called Tech Ready. If they had continued those events that were Microsoft Confidential, internal only, we would be on Tech Ready 37 this summer. And at Tech Ready, any of the slides that were presented were internal. So it wasn't something that as an employee at the time I could talk about. It wasn't something that I could do and share with other people. Let me turn off my captioning because others can caption their screen with the link that we had, and that's at the top of my screen. But let's get started with the internal Microsoft data centers. My name's Dan Ray, R-E-Y. You won't find me on social media if you misspell my last name. It's R-E-Y, not R-A-Y. And this is a session on different Microsoft data center designs that they've had over the years. The first thing that you need to understand with data centers, the physical locations, is the power usage effectiveness. Most data centers were just notorious for taking up way more bandwidth and power than the useful IT load that was placed on them. So there was a lot of overhead from a standpoint of both the infrastructure, cooling, everything from a physical perspective. So Microsoft rethought the data center design back in 2008 and 2009. And both Chicago, Illinois, and Frank, Dublin, Ireland are the two sister sites where containers were first brought into Microsoft's data center portfolio. There's a link to a ZDNet article on where in the world Microsoft data centers are, and let's take a look at least a couple of these together here. Chicago, CH1, was opened in 2009, and it was a both data center type 2 data center, a traditional colo, servers in racks. They did do some hot air containment, but it was over $1 billion investment to open half of the data center in Chicago. San Antonio, Texas, very similar design, Gen 2 facility. But Chicago started with the idea of the containerization. So besides the physical traditional ways of doing servers, they also created these IT packs with cooling above and computer equipment below. And that has since morphed into what Microsoft did in Dublin, Ireland, to take a look at free air cooling and these Generation 3 IT packs or containerized servers. Here is a picture of Cheyenne, Wyoming, and the data center that Microsoft has. So you'll see lots of cabling, lots of physical servers, and in the past you would see containment of the hot air produced from the servers. You'll notice that this isn't raised floor. This is just a concrete slab. So as you move into Generation 4 and beyond, data centers, instead of doing raised floors or containers for the servers, moved the servers in much like a container, but to just almost a warehouse type of flooring. And then in Dublin and elsewhere, these investments have just increased. So this is a more recent picture of Dublin. And then we also have Microsoft moving into advancements far beyond just putting these containers on land. Project Natick was the project of actually submerging a data center and thinking about the environmental conditions that were the servers were actually subject to. So off the coast of Scotland in the Orkney Islands, Microsoft submerged a IT pack, if you will, a project they called Project Natick, and these physical servers were put under the ocean floor. We've got a question on LinkedIn about what is the connection between Microsoft Azure and cybersecurity systems? Microsoft has a lot of cybersecurity and systems that run in Azure. So we'll talk about some other scenarios there as well from a cybersecurity perspective. Many of these locations are not well known either. So Microsoft doesn't disclose physical locations. You know that it's somewhere off the Orkney Islands that this test happened, but you won't see, other than this test, Microsoft branded containers or Microsoft on the outside of these physical locations. So from a both security and cybersecurity perspective, lots of things that Microsoft does. When we look at the different generations, we looked at containment, modularization, and then hyperscale through software-defined networking. this got us much lower and closer to a 1-for-1 relationship to the power usage effectiveness of the servers. And then in the future, Microsoft's looking at direct current, alternative energy, underwater, lots of things that will bring servers and these resources closer to the people that are using them. Frank just linked to a cyber attack link that he had shared earlier. Thanks, Frank. And so when you think about the generations, Microsoft, just like a pendulum, went from data centers to IT packs that could sit in a data center or outdoors in generation 4. Generation 5, they moved back to prefabricated buildings with servers just being brought in, almost like the containment and IT packs. And then in generations coming up, they're looking at different ways to the future of these servers. Let's take a look at actual Azure servers. Generation 2 servers, the RAMs and cores were kind of balanced. In generation 3, much more memory, and the hard drives were increased. There were also the inclusion of solid state drives or SSDs. And you'll notice the network, this may be too small for you to see unless you're viewing this on your phone or from the PowerPoint link that I provided. We went from 1 gig to 10 gig connections on the network side. Generation 4, much more powerful, larger footprint, more RAM, more disk, solid state, and 40 gigabits for the network connections. And then Microsoft moved up to the Godzilla or the G series servers. Sharina Williams asks, how are the servers able to work properly on the ocean floor, especially with gravitational pull? Great question. These aren't buried very deep. The tests they didn't bury these miles and miles under the ocean. But from a standpoint of cooling, the cooling's built in because you're in water. And from a standpoint of network connectivity and fiber connectivity, fiber is already drawn across the ocean from a standpoint of connecting different continents together. Great question. So they're not necessarily talking about, and the underwater tests weren't necessarily something that has to happen in the ocean, right? Think about rivers, think about different places where you have that natural water for cooling, and you have something that you can isolate from a standpoint of the environment or the what we would normally put as oxygen within these containers. They can actually look at different environmental studies as well. Generation 5, much larger and includes other new capabilities from a hardware perspective. These servers were designed to be very thin and powerful and then put into racks that might span from the floor to the ceiling. And then if we look at the Beast and the Beast 2, these are the largest of Microsoft's servers. So we see that pendulum of, smaller servers and hundreds of thousands of servers versus larger servers. And then we even have the Azure Sphere, which is a much smaller at 0.00000, lots of zeros, 53 of a Beast. Microsoft also has special purpose servers like high performance computing. So when you think about moving SAP HANA or other workloads that require high performance computing, Microsoft has you covered. They have many SKUs that have GPUs or graphics processing units for the types of things that we're doing today with AI. and lots of different types of balanced servers that have been introduced into the servers. Typically at a data center, you can also look at the design of the servers and maybe equate what types of workloads are done, but you won't find any Microsoft data centers that have labels like this is Bing, or we are looking at the architecture for Copilot or SQL Online or Microsoft 365 services. Those are obfuscated, but you might have a sense for, hey, this is a disk-intensive workload, so it might be Azure storage, or it might be database storage, just based on what the design of the servers looks like. Microsoft has a couple products that were put into confidential projects and eventually announced publicly. One of those was Project Olympus, looking at the modular designs of servers and going from the traditional OEMs back to the ODMs, the original design manufacturers, to say, you know what, we don't need displays, we don't need LED lights, we don't need things when we are purposing thousands of servers that you might need if you're only doing a data center with maybe hundreds of servers. So anything they could do to move to easier and more efficient devices in the data centers. And this won a Technology of the Year for Microsoft Project Olympus. One of my favorite things at the Microsoft Data Center in Chicago, so I saw its evolution from design through actually opening the data center. And then the last full-time position I had in 2016 at Microsoft was giving the actual physical data center tours. So we had the devices that had 88 hot swappable hard disks, so traditional disks in them, everything up into fiber channel, moving into mainstream from a networking perspective, and the removal of some of the Ethernet that was used back in 2008. The other thing that you'll notice about a Microsoft data center, if you ever have the chance to tour one, think about the largest place that you have visited, whether that's a stadium, a football or a soccer field, a cornfield, a field full of flowers, anything that's just as far as the eye can see. Data centers are built that way from Microsoft's perspective. And from a standpoint of the cost, especially from storage, flash storage is super fast, but hard drives allow you to get to terabytes and even beyond of storage. Pelican is a particular technology that Microsoft was also working on, Project Pelican, to put something in between tape and the more expensive hard disk drive for having massive amounts of storage. If you've ever had a OneDrive personal in your Microsoft account and you haven't used it for years or accessed the account, Microsoft has a process where they will actually need to thaw the data. And the thawing of the data means that you haven't accessed it for years. It's the free tier, it's not the paid tier. But Microsoft can offload that type of storage to tape libraries, robotic tape libraries. And the idea of thawing a OneDrive that hasn't been used for years is you request the data, Microsoft backs the data up onto tapes and then restores it to storage that you can access. So it's not immediate, but it's the idea of what did we do after years and years and years of pictures being stored, free accounts being opened, maybe passwords being lost, etc. So Project Pelican, and I have a link here. If you search for Project Pelican, you'll find more information about that cold data storage from Microsoft Research. And then finally, Microsoft has moved everything that they're doing into Azure into things that you can actually do on premises on your network. So Azure Stack hyper-converged infrastructure, Azure Stack Edge, Internet of Things Edge, and Azure Arc, as well as Azure Stack Hub, are things you can do on premises from a server perspective. And that brings me to the end of my presentation. I'll see if there's any questions here in our chat. I don't see any others. Let me check in the live stream here. Pratap, I don't know who's next, but
Yeah, yeah, okay. So thank you so much, Dan. So now Ajar will take care of this. So yeah, bro, you can take care.
Thanks, Jan. That was a wonderful presentation. So, yeah, let me share my screen real quick. Hope my screen is visible, Pratap. Can you confirm?
yep, it looks perfect.
Okay. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the people who joined all over from the globe. So, my name is Azhar, and this is a little intro about me. So, my name is Azhar, and I'm an IoT developer. I have a specialty in IoT development, DevOps engineer expert, and an Azure developer. So, this is about me in a nutshell, and I'm also a C Sharp Corner MVP. So that's a little about me. So we are going to jump into the session as my topic suggests that this is going to be entirely on how to create creating a conversational chat bot. you know uh, uh, Previously, creating a chatbot was an hectic process. Let's say down the line 5 to 10 years before, previously I'm saying. So that was the time where technology was advancing, and if you want to create a chatbot, it involves a very very big and complex process. So now, introduction to all the technologies, AI, and all the automation part that have turned the tables around, and this is uh, creating a chatbot, be it a chatbot or a very complex bot, that is being simplified. So in this session, we will be creating a conversational chatbot. When I say we, I really meant it, because it is not I'm not going to create a chatbot on my own. So you guys stick together, let's create it together. Yeah. So NLPs. Most of you have heard of this term NLP, natural language processing. So this is a term which is being used recently, just like the Chat GPT, Open AI, the automation and everything. So everything behind this AI, this is the main factor which lies behind this AI stuff, which is NLP, just natural language processing. So to put this in a nutshell, I will give an example. While you are conversing with a chatbot, let's say that you're just saying a hi, and it responds, it understands your hi, right, and it responds back to you. That is how a chatbot works. So NLP, what it does is it has two other components inside it, which is NLG and NLU, which is language generation and understanding. So natural language processing, which means the language which we speak, right? That raw language, the human language that is being processed, and NLU, what it does is it understands the language, and NLG, which is generation, according to the language which we gave in, right? So it processes and gives us a response back. So that is this as a whole package, which is NLP for you guys. So yeah. Okay. So we are going to create a bot. Okay. So what I'll just put this also in a nutshell. Creating a bot involves three major steps. First of all, like if you have an idea to create a bot, first step is gathering the information. What kind of bot do you need to be created, and what are the things which need to collect for this creation of the bot, and how do you are planning on training the bot, and how do you deploy it, right? So everything from end to end we are going to cover in this session. What is a conversational bot and why is it needed? Obviously, yes, right. So why is a conversational bot needed? For example, nowadays everything is being automated, right? So be it making an appointment, be it booking a train ticket, a dentist appointment. Just previously you should have to call the person or the office and say that you need this reservation to make for this particular day at this particular time, right? So what the bot, the automation bot kicked in, and what it does is you just have to tell your bot to make an appointment on this date at this time. It will give you the available doctors or available offices and everything. So right, so if you want to move forward with that, you just say yes, make an appointment at 2 p.m. It will do that based upon the user input which he have designed the bot. So a conversational bot is moreover like a chit chat bot. Let's say if you're feeling lonely, create a bot and you can even talk to that, right? So it is about having a conversation. There are a lot of types of bots. Let's say we have transactional bots, which we can if you have a table, if you want to insert a number, just insert a number and tell the bot to insert this particular number in row 5, right? So it does that. So there are a lot of types of bots, but in this session we are going to be very particular about it. That is conversational bot. Why is it needed? Yeah, why is it needed? Obvious question. And why not is the answer, right? So while we can automate the entire process, why are we going to stick to the traditional method, which is going to take a lot of time, right? So yeah, that's the answer for that. Okay, this is one of the important stages. So previously I've told about preparing the data, testing and deploying it, right? So in the technicality, when you come into the Azure or be it any bot services, okay, when you're trying to create a bot, you need a knowledge base. Knowledge base is nothing but let's say I'm saying good morning to my bot and it says good morning back. So I've given a request and I've got a response back from the bot, right? Good morning, and it said good morning back. This is a pair, right? Request and response. So these things are clubbed together and put in a file, and that is known as knowledge base. It is basically how you train your bot to be, right? So what are the requests you're giving, what are the inputs you're going to give, and what are the possible outputs which you're going to get. That is a knowledge base for you. And after preparing the knowledge base based upon the type of pod you're going to deploy, this is the major part, which is training your data. The knowledge bases can be edited, trained and retrained again until you want it to give the perfect results. And evaluation and test, and the final stage is deployment. So this might sound a little simple, but while deploying an experimental bot, that's okay. But while going to do complex bot creations, you have to redeploy it, you have to edit it, you have to retrain it based on the mistakes you have done. So this is for you. The major part is having your knowledge base prepared. That is the core part, which will decide your the accuracy and the efficiency of your part. Okay. So sorry if this is going to be a little theoretical for the next 2-3 slides, and after that we'll be kicking into the practical sessions where we are going to create a chatbot in real time. So yes, here are these few applications of chatbot. We are using that in the healthcare, chatting bots, personal assistants. Chatting is nothing but the conversational bot. Healthcare bots, you might be wondering why it is used in healthcare industries. Let's say if I'm planning to create a bot, which is entirely for healthcare. Okay, I'm going to give an input saying that I'm feeling a little feverish, I'm having running nose, and etc. symptoms. Okay, so the bot is going to give me a response saying that these are the possible sicknesses you might experience. Do you want to book a doctor? Do you want to make an appointment? These are the things can be automated and make the bot more interesting. Yeah. So for everything, there will be a lot of pros and cons, obviously. Yes. So pros, it reduces workload and saves time. That is obvious, right? Instead of standing in a large queue to book tickets or to do a job, we can just automate it with a simple bot. So it is going to save a lot of time. It is saving a lot of time. As you can see, all the big industries, be it big or small, all the companies and business people, they are cutting off the customer support and they are employing chatbots for their responses. You might have seen that. It is highly precise and more efficient. Yes, obviously it is precise. This preciseness and efficiency will be dependent on the knowledge base we are going to give. I mean, we are going to prepare for that chatbot. Cons, yeah, for fine tuning of all these models, we need. I mean, that is a must thing. We need human intervention. Let's say your bot doesn't know what to do, what is right and what is wrong, so you're there to guide the bot, prepare the knowledge base and make it responsible, and that is the major part. So yeah, let's dive into the practical part right now. So I've zoomed it a little bit, 1 second. Okay, so hope my screen is visible. So for all the beginners who are new to Microsoft Azure, this is how an subscription, I mean, how your Microsoft account looks like. So this is a free trial account. If you are new and if you want to explore a lot of things, and even if you want to create a chatbot at the end of the session, feel free to register for this free trial, which is free of cost, and you'll be given $200, and Indian money it would be 16,000 around, and you can use that money. I can see I have 5,000 credit remaining left, so you can experiment over it, and it is not going to cost you a single penny. And obviously, a lot of people ask, this amount cannot be taken from the account, so we have to use it in Microsoft and alone. Yeah. So let's dive in. So in order to create our conversational bot, we first need to provision a language service. In order to do that, just go into the search bar, type in language, and you will see under the services, you will see language, right? Just click on that. Yeah, here I have a language already deployed. So let's go with a new one, create. Here is an option to create a language service, create. Okay, this is going to be custom question answering, which is a simplified version of a conversational bot. So custom question answering, and continue to create your resource. Yes. So here it will prompt you to fill in a few informations about your service. Okay, mine is a free trial, which I have already told you. Just select, it is automatically selected. But if it is not, just select free trial. And resource group. This is an important part while you're stepping into Azure. A resource group. This also most used term, resource group. Let's say whatever I'm going to create after this bot, right? I'm going to create a bot, and while creating this bot, there are a lot of services which are automatically created in Azure. So if you feel that one day, if you woke up and feel that you don't want this bot entirely, instead of going and deleting each and every service, you can just delete this particular resource group, and then everything associated inside this resource group will be automatically deleted. So let's create a new resource group. Okay, magic bot RG. So I'm just giving RG in the end, just like the camel casing. This is just a convention, just to when you look at that, and you will understand that okay, that's a resource group. So that is the reason for this. You can follow this, or you can skip it, but it is recommended to follow this naming convention. So okay, it is available. Okay, the region, you can choose whatever the region which is close to you. This is going to be magic bot language. Yes, magic bot's language service, that just giving it. You can give any preferred name. Okay, so pricing tier, right? As I have a free subscription, 1K calls per minute. I mean, the transaction limit is just like if you're going to give hi to your bot, it responds back, right? Request and response, that is one transaction. So 1K transaction per minute. Okay, let it be that, no problem. And pretty much all the details are already filled. So the most important part is clicking here, which going through all the terms and conditions. In order to create a bot, you should know what to do and what not to do, right? So you can offend someone while by your bot's response. So please go through all this and agree after that. Review plus create. Now, whatever you are going, let's say if something is loading or processing, you can just see it over here. Validation failed. Let's see why. Things looks fine. Okay.
There was a question about what's the difference between a free trial and a pay-as-you-go subscription.
Yeah, that is a very good question. A free trial is when you started to wonder if Azure is going to be helpful for you. You are going to experiment free of cost, right? Just say if you are a beginner, go with free trial. Experiment all you can using the free trial account and exhaust all the limit you have in the free trial. And if you feel that it is good to go forward, you can upgrade to pay as you go. The name itself suggests, right? Pay as you go. For example, if you're going to a restaurant, I will just make it with an example so that the people can understand. Let's say if you're going into a restaurant with your friend and you're ordering a large piece, I mean, for two large pizzas, okay, and just like a combo meal, two large pizzas and a coke, okay, and you figured it later that you too couldn't finish the food which we have ordered. Let's say half of the pizza is left over. So when you take this half sliced pizza and go return it back to the shopkeeper, and if you ask the money back, he's not going to give that, right? So this is the traditional method. If you're going to, even if you're going to use it or not, you're going to pay for what you bought. That is the traditional method. This pay as you go is where you only eat what you want and pay only for what you ate. The same sense, you only use the resources. What are the resources which you're going to use in this Azure? You're only going to pay for that particular resources alone. So that is pay as you go for you. Let's try it one more time.
There's a question about how
Okay,
long
no
the free
problem.
trial lasts.
It's around 1 month, I guess, and in that 1 month, you can use that entire credit limit. Yeah. So language service, after clicking that, it will say that it will say a pop-up saying your resource have been created. So after that, what you have to do is just go. This is the language service which I've already created. So after this, you should open this language studio. So far, what we have done is we have opened an Azure account and we have created a language service. And after creating that, just go into a new tab and click language.cognitive.azure.com. Okay, language.azure.cognitive.com, and that will be redirected to your language studio. And a hint here is, whatever the here I have used an ID, right? The same ID should go with this language studio. We are going to link these two services, so it should be the same accounts for better understanding. Yeah. So after you have created your own language studio, I mean opened your language studio, just sign in with the same account which I've used for your um, Azure subscription. 1 second, let's try to create it real quick. Meanwhile, if there are any questions, you can let me know.
I've been monitoring the chat. I don't see. Let's see if there's anything new.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. So after logging into your language studio, just click here understand questions and conversational language. Click that, and after that, you should be clicking custom question answer. This was previously called as Q&A maker, and that became obsolete. So the next version of the Q&A maker is what we are working on right now. Click this, and after you click that, it will prompt you to create a new project. Let's create a new project. Just here, right? I have a project already deployed. No problem. Let's create a new one. Create a new project. So okay, let's go name it what. So you can give the name of your project. Description is not mandatory, but the source language is mandatory. When you log in into this language studio, it will prompt you to select a language. I have already selected English, so I'll go with that. In case if your bot doesn't know how to respond, let's say if I'm asking what is your name, and if you have not provided any default replay to that particular question, so what is the response if the bot doesn't know the answer which you're asking? So let's say I'm not sure, buddy. That will work. Yeah. Okay, create a project. Loading project completed. Okay, so after your project is being completed, now comes the major part, which is, I mean, making your knowledge base, right? That is important part. So here, if you have a knowledge base already, be it in a URL form or you have a file. For example, when I say knowledge base, that is nothing, rocket science behind that. And a simple knowledge base is, an Excel sheet with two rows. One is question and one is answer. That is whatever the questions you're going to feed there, and answers for the pair. Let's say my name. What is your name? My name is Magic Bot. That is one question and answer. That is how a simple knowledge base you can do with an Excel. After that, you can click file, add file, and you can browse your Excel sheet and insert it. I'm going to go with this default things which are already there with Azure. So I'm going to click chit chat. And how do you want this bot to be? You want the bot to be responding to you professionally, friendly, witty, caring, and enthusiastic. These are the pre-built ones. Okay, let's go with the witty one. Why not? Yes. Okay. Chit chat says adding sources. When this says adding sources, right, it is automatically adding the pre-built knowledge bases for this particular witty chit chat, right? That knowledge base is going to be here. We can see here, right? Q&A chat, chit chat witty. It is the persona, and this is. And now I'm going to deploy our chatbot. You can, as I've already said, you can test and do a lot of things with your knowledge base. Feel free, go through all these tabs. You can edit, test and everything, edit your knowledge base. You can do a lot of things. So let's go ahead and deploy this. Deploy Magic Bot. Oh, okay, let's deploy it. Why not? So guys, so far we have created one language service in Azure and one project in Language Studio. Just don't get confused. Okay, so the deployment is successful. You can get your prediction URL and create a bot. So the third and the most important and the final step is creating your bot service. This has to be ordered. You should not skip one and do the second step. First, when you create an language service in Azure, should be the first step, because when you come to the Language Studio, you can't do anything before creating that. So that is step one. Step two is logging into your Language Studio, and step three is deploying your knowledge base. Step four, it says here to create a bot. Let's create a bot. Meanwhile, guys, just put on any names that you find interesting for naming this bot. Don't be too professional. You can be witty, because we gave the persona witty. Just comment down the names whichever you find fit for this bot, and then let's deploy it. We are almost done, so feel free to comment on the names.
There's a question about
Mhm.
accessing the recording later, and you can get to the recording later. It's on Pratap's LinkedIn. We're also on a couple of YouTube channels, and we can put those in the chat.
Okay. So here it is prompting us to create a bot service. We should only select the same resource group which we have used over there. So yeah. Um, okay. That's for Audrey. One second. So the bot handle name. Any comments on the name? Do we have any comments?
Yes, we
Rajni here.
have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Let's name it Rajni here. Rajni here. Oh, that's not available.
So you just add two more comments like alphabet in numerical.
One second. Yeah, Rajni here is available. Okay, let's review and create. If something went wrong, no problem. Even if something goes wrong, it obviously does. Don't panic. There is nothing to worry about. Let's go. Something is wrong with the web app. Okay, create a new app plan, and here. This is another important step. While integrating our front end with this database, we use the API, REST API endpoints, right? API endpoints. The same way, we should put an endpoint here, which is okay. I'll show you here. Just open the language service which you have created already. Just type in language, and it will show you the language service. Okay, I have opened that. And when you open your language service to the left, one second. It prompts you here, and it says keys and endpoints. Just have to, where is that? You just have to put on the keys and endpoints, paste it over here, and click on review plus create. And this has failed because we have not created a language, because it failed there. So let's go with the one which I've already prepared. One second. Okay. It's loading. I don't know why it's taking so long. Okay, so guys, I missed that part while showing your the endpoint keys and endpoints, right? Just click on your language service, and here there is keys. Oh, I'm sorry, keys and endpoints, right? Just click that. Copy any key, just key one or two. Just copy it. Um, Go to the bot which you are going to create, right? Here, just paste that. Review press create. So it's being deployed right now. How many bots can be created by an individual with or without subscription? In order to create a chatbot, you need subscription. That is the thing. Without the subscription, you can't do anything. You must. So yes, you need subscription. After doing this, your bot service will look like this. Okay. After going through deployment, this is how your bot service look like. So if you want to deploy this in your, let's say after this is being created, just tap here in the navbar and go to channels, where you can deploy the bot in various channels. You can see here, you can deploy it over email, Facebook, Line, Slack, Teams, Telegram, and you have pretty much a lot of options over here. And if you want to integrate it with an customized application, you can also do that. So right now I have selected Microsoft Teams, right? So here it is, Microsoft Teams, and open in Teams. Let's open this bot in Teams. Okay, 1 second. So if you want to change the bot's name, right? Let's say the bot's name is Jarvis over here. We change it to Rajni here, as some one of you recommended. So when you change the name over here, it takes approximately 20 to 30 minutes to for the name to get changed. Okay, so that's it. Apply that, and when you open your bot, let's say a simple hi. Hey, hello there. What's your name? Did you mean with whom I'm talking? We can also do these kinds of stuff. What's your boss's name? Let's go with that. I don't have a boss. I'm here to help you answer. So this is how easy it is to create a chatbot in Azure. So if you have any other questions, if you want to ask any questions to the bot, you know, feel free to comment them over there. And
So, question about how many bots can be created by an individual with or without a subscription. Are there limits?
yeah, there are no particular limits. When you use a free trial, you are good to create. It is according to your usage. Let's say if you are given this 1K transactions per month, if you exhaust that, you can't create anymore. So if you go to pay as you go, you can create n number of bots, and you are only going to pay for how much you're going to use. So yeah, so feel free to scan this. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and um, yeah, we can catch up later on later events. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to drop them over the comments. So you don't need any programming language to create the bots in Azure. Yes and no. So in order to create a simple bot, which we have done, right? So in order to do this, we require no programming language. Let's say you're going to make a custom bot, which is going to be very complex. There you might need a little bit there, here and there with the coding part. But I would say that it is not high level coding, just drag and dropping, low code. Let's say, yeah, that is what it's needed with Azure. Yeah, obviously. Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, feel free to yeah drop your questions regarding this session.
Yeah, I saw a lot of names right now. Shah Rukh Khan. Some people are saying,
Yeah, so we have lots of different names as well.
yeah, we'll do that in the next session. We'll, if possible, if Dan or some Frank,
Yes, yes, of
Pratap,
course. I mean, yeah,
we
in
can,
coming fourth September, we have another session, that is Azure AI
yeah.
session.
We can create
So
a very complex bot. Let's say there is this funny incident which happened to me a few months back while I was giving a presentation in an university. I asked the same question to the people over there, students, to what shall we create, what should this bot do. That was a workshop actually, and someone stood up and said that let's create a chatbot. My friend is really depressed, and all his status he is going to put, reels he's going to send is are very sad. So I want to create him a bot, and and make him feel more accompanied. that was really good thing. So what we did is we took a real conversation between two friends in WhatsApp. We have extracted that, we have put that as a knowledge base, and we have trained the bot, and yeah, that worked wonders. It would, the bot would respond exactly as that friend would respond. So yeah,
Yeah, that
if
is
you look
great.
at
Yeah, that is
in
great.
future,
So yeah, that is a great idea, sir. So that person is overcome from the depression, wherever it may be.
yeah. Roshan, top
Yeah,
three. I mean, programming skills. Yeah, that was your answer, buddy. You don't need to be an expert to create a bot. In previous days, that was true. You should have expertise, but now it is pretty self-explanatory. You can do that. It works wonders. Yeah.
yeah.
Is this similar
So
service in AWS or Google Cloud? Yeah, there are similar services in AWS. Yes, there are, but if you ask me personally, I would recommend Azure because it is easy to learn and it is pretty self-explanatory. So that's why I chose Azure. If you want, you can also try it with Google or the AWS. Yes, obviously.
yeah. So so can I go ahead if you don't mind?
Yeah, please, please. If there are no other questions, yeah, please.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Dan, Frank, and everything. So now I can move forward the next session. So instead of sharing my screen, I want to share my screen. So before we are going to the Azure AI Studio, I would like to represent the two videos of the Mr. Satya Nadella. So and then we can move forward it. Just share my screen. One second.
The audio is really quiet on my end.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
our partners and
That's
reaffirm
better. That's
our
better.
commitment to our customers, to innovation on behalf of our customers, and to serve our customers across every community, every country, across every sector of the economy.
So I would like to represent one more video.
Introducing Azure AI Studio, a full lifecycle tool to build, customize, train, evaluate, and deploy the latest next generation models responsibly. With just a few clicks, developers can ground AI models with their structured and unstructured data to quickly and easily build customized, cutting edge conversational experiences for their customers. Developers can take advantage of a new model catalog that works with the popular models organizations use, including those from Azure OpenAI Service, Hugging Face, and many other open source models. With Prompt Flow, developers can combine relevant data from your organization and create a detailed prompt to get better results. Prompt Flow works with Foundation, internally developed or open source models, and uses popular open source tools, LangChain, and semantic kernel. And because the AI systems we build are designed to support our AI principles, with Azure AI Content Safety, we are making it easier for you to test and evaluate AI deployments for safety. This is Azure AI Studio, the trusted tools you need to build the next generation of AI applications.
Yeah. So that's all for the two videos about the Azure OpenAI and Azure AI Studio. So recently, after the Build 2023 event, we are gone. One second, guys. Yeah. So after one second. So after Build 2023 event, so we have gone through the some of the so we Microsoft updated some new features and new envelopes and everything that will be comes into that. So I love the most of the part is the Azure OpenAI that will be renamed as the Azure AI Studio. So in the Azure AI Studio, we have the different concepts so that we are looking into before that Azure OpenAI. So we don't have any daily preview and some of the prompt machine learning prompt. So we don't have that ability. After the OpenAI comes to combined with the Microsoft company. So we have the daily preview and Azure prompt flows and so we have the new more updates coming into this. So I will guide you how Azure AI Studio really works, and I will give you the brief introduction about the Azure AI Studio and everything. Let's go on. So I forgot to introduce my community, that is innovation tech community in the initially. So those who are joining the today's session, that thank you so much. So this is we are representing the innovation tech community. So those who are innovative minds, so we have any ideas and you have any sessions regarding the AI and Azure or Microsoft products, so whatever it may, please reach out us. We have to conduct ourselves and we have to conduct so the events and the weekends and elections, whatever it may be. And one second, yeah, that's yeah. So coming to my part, so I'm working as an associate consultant at ABDN. So I'm an author, I'm a blogger, I'm a speaker. I hold a 7x Azure certifications. So if you want to feel free to reach out us on LinkedIn, feel free to reach out us and please feel free to scan this QR code. So I'm 24 by 7 at any time I will ready to help you. So I need to guide you. So any technology I will guide you. I will. So here we have the Dan Ray and Frank and Azhar. So everyone here to help you at any technology. Please feel free to reach out to us. We are ready to help you about the Microsoft products, and so we have the brand ambassador for you to take over the whatever the it may be. And like coming to next slide. So thank you so much, Dan, so for making this. Accepting this invite to so talk about the tour of Azure physical data centers around the world. So that is the great session we talk about and have a great, demo ahead for this. And thank you so much, Frank. So you showed me the wonderful demo that was very, very. So I didn't saw any demo like this way. So that was fantastic that we saw that securing the Azure infrastructure and that everything that will be great to hear that one from you. And thank you, Azhar, for the great session about the weaving wonders with Azure AI and the crafting with the magical bat. That was a great session about creating the so wonderful forums as well. So we have the lots of questions as well with the different Shahrukh Khan and creating the different contents as well. And coming to my session, yeah, one second, yeah. So this is today we have to talk about the Azure AI Studio. So the main completion of this studio is Azure. So we have everyone knows about the Azure OpenAI Studio. So in the Azure OpenAI Studio, everyone knows about the chat and completion. So now we have the one more option is daily to preview. So previously everyone has to access for the daily preview. So everyone has to go for the this one like so OpenAI daily model. So we have to log in with the OpenAI daily, and then they given the 15 credentials so every 3 months. So you have to utilize that 15 credentials. You have to use that 15 credentials. You have to generate the own image generation. So let's see why the daily and chat and completions or Azure AI Studio. So why they are real? So why I'm showing the two videos? Because so Microsoft CEO the Satya Nadella said that Microsoft loves open AI services. So previously, I mean, Azhar said that about that bot services, so that LLM models and the NLP models, so that everything that will be related to Azure AI Studio and Open AI, and we have to create the different modules in that Azure AI Studio. So that too after Build 2023 event, there is a big updates in this Azure AI Studio. That is the prompt flow in the machine learning. It is very fantastic, and the DALI model and some of the deployment models that was very fantastic. So we need to update, keep on updating the Azure and whatever the cloud computing platform. We have to keep on updating as well. And so different forms of Azure AI Studio in this. Basically, we have the Azure AI Studio. So previously we said that once we tap on that Open AI Studio, so we have some speech studio, language studio, custom translator, vision studio, document intelligence, and content safety, Azure AI Studio, and machine learning. Yeah, so we have the different concepts and we have different forms of these everything that will be related to AI and that will be related to Azure AI Studio. So let's have a quick look. Okay, so I mean, I didn't, okay, I don't waste your time. Have a quick demo and then we can show so guys in front of you the how can we create the Azure AI Studio, how can we realize that so how we have to move forward this and everything that we have to go through it. Okay, and I have to share my screen. Okay, yeah. So I hope my screen is will show everyone. So the one thing we have to understand is that every Microsoft, I mean, once we have to log in through www.portal.azure.com is the official website of Azure Microsoft Cloud Platform. Once you just go through that cloud platform, so you have three I mean subscriptions, that is pay as you go, free trial, and student accounts. So if you are a student at a prestigious university, so you have to go through your college, university enrollment IDs and whatever it may be, and you have go. So every citizen has to in the different any approximately 150 to 180 countries. I don't know exactly the name. So everyone access for the free trial accounts. You have to go through the free trial accounts. You just to give me the free trials, like just give me the debit card or credit card. You just exactly 2 to 5 rupees, and then it will be created to you. So you have to utilize all the services of Azure. I mean, maximum amount of the Azure service you have to utilize, and you have to go through for the 30 days of free trial account. Uh, and once you have to update your whatever the services that you have already created in the free trial, so you need to go for the pay as you go. You need to pay for the whatever the amount that you have been utilized in the services, so you have to go for that, you have to utilize for that. So these are the three free trial accounts so that everyone has to use for that. And now today we have to discuss about Azure AI Studio. So I just tap on the Azure OpenAI. So I'm already created one Azure AI account. So I would like to create one more account for you. How to create one Azure AI service, OpenAI service, and everything. So first, initially they're asking for the basic details like which subscription they are asking using for the whether it is the free trial account, whether it is a pay as you go, whether it is a student account. I have already free trial account, so I am using this free trial account. And you have to select for the resource group. So a must and should you need to select one free trial account, I mean a resource group and free trial account. Without this we cannot able to do anything. And region is the must and should so we have the 140 current countries, so 60 plus regions are there. In the 60 regions you need to select any regions according to your utilities. You need to select the region and you have to give the unique name. Okay, so for, let's see, I have given as you aged 900. I just given the name. Let's see. Oh yeah, this unique name is available. So I need to select, and then after I'm given the unique name, I just move for the pricing tier, whether it is the standard or so we have the different type of I mean the pricing tiers are SS1, S1, S2. So like this standard pricing tiers are. And then we have to move for the networking. So whether we have to move for the access for the all the networks or only for the preview, I mean only for the few of the networks, or only for the we have to disable the networks and everything we have to give in here. and then we have to move for the tags. So if you want to go for the tags, so you have to give the some names according to whether we have previously created any values, I mean any resources that we have previously related to Azure AI service. You need to give the some values and name according to that, and finally you just tap on to the review and submit. So once the validation is successfully completed, you just tap, yeah, validation is completed, right? Now we just tap on the create tab. Okay, so once we have to tap on the create button, if you that Azure OpenAI account will create it within the 2 to 3 minutes. So once we created the 2 to 3 minutes, if we are not able to chat with that service, because it will takes at least 5 to 15 minutes and then able to say. So now I'm already created one Azure OpenAI account. So I have that account. I just go through that. I have already created Tech Today account, so I need to go this account. So just tap on to go to Azure OpenAI Studio. Okay, I just tap on here. So it will redirect to the Azure AI Studio. So initially everyone saw that it is the here we have Azure OpenAI Studio. So now it will be redirected as a Azure AI Studio. So in the Azure AI Studio, in the preview, we have the different options like chart background, completion playground, and bring your own data and Dali. So this is the two new features that will be comes after the Build 2023 event. That is the Dali playground and bring your own data. Let's see. So bring your own data. If you have in the own data regarding to, for example, you have a PDF, you have an Excel sheet, you have in a different forms of data that you have to go through your data according to. So you need to create Azure AI Studio by using your own data, or for example, you have to go for the daily view, everything that you have to go. So for example, I go for the chat. So I will show you how it will be looks like. So I just given the command like hi. So I don't know how many of you know about the ChatGPT. The ChatGPT preview version is this one only. So I just given the hi command. They can give you the hi. How can I? So please, I just given a give me some information about ChatGPT. Yeah, I just given them some command. So they will give like that only. So how the chat GPT is given to every individual person who respond to the, I mean, so they are asking for the different comments, they are asking for the different situations, so they are like that way only they are created. So this is the way of thinking of the Azure. I mean, the how AI will be thinking of the user's ability and the AI ability, that completion will be like that. So we have some completions as well. So we have the different concepts like so example. So for example, how AI can deploy into different ways like that way. For example, let's see, I have the just to click on the generate an email. I just to click on the generate email. Okay, so you just tap on the generate an email. It's really creating one email for this one. Okay, so just observe that when the date it was the first name, last name, we had op your email, and we have teachers everything, enhancing music, like so like that way it will create one generating email according to the above scenario. So like that way, so it will creating like that. So now I have to click on to one more tab, that is the generate a quiz. Okay, I just to clear all everything, just given the generate a quiz related to as you. I just tap on here. I given the command. Let's see it will generate or not. Yeah, so I just given the command like it will create the source code. Yeah, they are also given the some content as well. So how the AI will create the quiz in Azure, everything. So this is the source code, and then we can deployment. After that, we can give the preview version and everything. And one more thing, yes. So like that, if you don't want to like this way, so you just tap on the undo button. You have to tap on the regenerate button, and whatever it may be, just to go through that one only. And I have to tap on to. So let's see, it will previously we have the source code. Right now it will be given the, so what is Azure, so we have given the Q&A session. Okay, this is how the completion playground in the different ways. Let's see, we have the different, I mean, more than 10 plus services in this examples of the play completions. And I'll show you. Okay, wait. So it will take, yeah. So now we have to discuss about the daily preview. So I just given some commands and I have to create some so this, whatever the images that we are able to create in the daily playground, that is everything we related to you only, the copyrights and everything that we belongs to you only. We just given the command, I mean, like given the commands, that's all. So whatever the image that we belongs to you only. So I just given the command like cat play. Yeah. I just given the command like a cat playing create. So let's see how the AI will generate the image. So this is a really funny, right? So how the cat playing the cricket like that way, right? So let's see how the, let's see. So it is the funny thing that the cat is a, it looks like the image is looks like a cat playing cricket, right? So that is how the cat is playing, everything that will be generated like that. So I have to given the one more command like that. I just given the same command. I just rephrase it in the place of cat, given the lion. So lion playing cricket. So let's see, so if they generate the image or not. Yeah, let's see. So this is also create one more picture, I mean, like the lion, this is the animal, it looks like a lion and it will play a cricket like that. So this the both pictures selected, that the cat plays a cricket and the lion plays a cricket. I given the two commands, but these the two commands we are able to, I mean, the AI can analyze that. So that really, I mean, that cat wants to play the cricket, that so the user wants that that type of image, so I need to create that type of image. Whatever the image that we are create, see here, it is not, we cannot find the images in the any browser, whether it is a Google, Bing, or Firefox, whatever the browsers we have. Didn't we? So whatever the images that we are preview here, that will be generated by the AI only. That is not, so these images are going to, that is I mean, copyrights belongs to you only. Okay, now, so we have the few more deployment, like deployment models are there. You have to create the deployment models, you have to maintain the deployment models. So this is a different way. So and we have the models as well. So GPT 3.5, GPT 4, and we everyone. So whatever the daily preview and the chat here is that only about the GPT 3.5, I mean generative transfer, that is the 3.5 only. So we don't have, I mean 3 point, I mean 4 access here. Okay, and we have to access for the data files as well, and quotas, and so we have in the Azure AI, we have the different more, few more studios are there, that is the speech studio. So we have the speech studio. Let's see, I would like to share this tab. Okay, and I just tap on here. So in the speech studio also, so it will captioning, so whatever the, so let's see, we have an, so for example I talk here, so whatever the CC cameras that will be able to see in front of your desk, so that will be able to applied by the speech studio only. For example, I just try out this captioning text. So I would like to show you how the real-time captioning is going on. Yeah, this is the one video.
When it comes to the neural PTS, in order to get a good voice, it's better to have good data.
To achieve that, we build a universal TTS model based on 3,000 hours of data.
We actually accumulate tons of the data so that this universal model is able to capture the nuance of the audio and generate a more natural voice for the algorithm.
What we liked about cognitive services offerings were that they had a much higher fidelity and they sounded a lot more like an actual human voice.
Orlando ground 9555 requesting the end of pushback.
So I mean, let's see one second. So whatever the caption that will be, so that able to captioning, like whether it is neutral or positive, whatever it will, that will be happening in the captioning settings, like I mean recognizing even real time mode runs stable portions is also, like whether it is confusing with any, I mean any instructions and everything, that will be captioning like that. Potential thresholds and everything, maximum how many characters we have, so how many number of lines, I mean step by step lines, the how many we have, and masking and everything, so everything that will be able to analyze it by the speech studio. So like that way only, speech studio, language studio, and so language studio. So previously, I mean Azhar also said about this language, I don't know exactly whether it is related to language, I don't know exactly. So the part services and everything, they are interlinked with this one only. And the custom translator, for example, in the custom translator we have the different scriptures and whatever it may be, so that we're able to, we cannot find that in the different so we don't know. So I'm from India, so I don't know about the French languages or whatever it may be. So I don't know exactly about that, so I just want to use that custom translator. I just put that whatever the files I have, I just put in the custom translator, that will be translated into different form. And Vision Studio, so Vision Studio, it is very very important, so whatever it may be, so the Vision Studio plays a very key role. And document intelligence, so for example, it is the very initial role. So document intelligence will keep on trying to I mean updating the, so the accuracy level of the in the health service and everything, that will be plays a key role in this way. And content safety, so this is also a main. And these are everything that related to Azure AI Studio. And machine learning, so this machine learning is very very important. We have the different concepts in the Azure machine learning, and different modules are there. So I want to go for the workspaces. So I already have one space. Let's see if it is working or not, I don't know exactly. I just want to tap on here. Yeah, so we have the different prompt flows and different things that we have already here. And I just tap on to whisper here. uh, so it is some training models and everything like that. So I just want to whisper model, it is very very high, I mean very 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 accurate one. So I just want to record some video. Just allow this. So hi everyone, so thank you so much for joining the Azure fundamentals and the key features of the today's session. And thank you so much and everyone those who are joining. So let's see, I recorded some video, I'm sorry, I recorded some audio. uh, I, I just I need to refresh that. That will be whisper into that AI will analyze the whatever the transactions that we are transcribing into the audio too. So let's see. So hi everyone, thank you so much for joining the. So like that way. So I'm not given the proper way of communication. That is why that is creating like that. If I want to create one more way, like so hi everyone, thank you so much for the joining today's session, and special thanks to Ajar and Dan and Frank. So I just created one more text model. I just test the model. Yeah, so I just given the hi everyone, thank you so much for joining the true session, and a special thanks to Acha, Dan and Ben. So this is the analyzing and the capabilities of the Azure machine learning. And so we have the different models as well. So we have different contest as well. So that is the DALI models, Llama models, GPT-4 and GPT. So we have the different kinds. So everything and details, so that is also that is that takes a lot of times to explain everything about the Azure AI Studio. So we have the different session on that will be happening on 4th September, that will be about the only on Azure AI Studio only. So that's all for the today's session about this basic modules and everything. And I would like to, I think this is the very clear minimum one. So I would like to extend this session to the 4th September. So on that time, so Azhar and Dan will be there, if of course if they are available. And so that's all for now. So any questions related to today's session and for me? Yeah, Frank, any questions related to the?
No, no, very good. Very good
Yeah,
presentation.
yes, yes, thank you. And yeah, so we have few more questions, like So Roshan Thakri asked me like, so can we say that all the answer from the AI is basically one we feed them? So it means that cannot be 100% true, or what? Justify the guess. Let's see. So the input, whatever the input that you have given to the AI, so the analyzing capability that will be depends upon the analyzing capability of AI. So for example, so we have to, I mean, interact with the romantic manner with IA. So for example, you have to give the command like "I love you." They will give you like the simple manner. They will reject. So I'm IA, but I don't have any feelings like that way. So the content that you have given to the AA, it depends upon the AA only. They will react how. So you said that the 100% is not true. The accuracy level of the AA will be in the chat GPT or whatever it may be. It between 80 to 95% only. It is not 100% true. So sometimes we have to, and also AI also confused with our prompts, and we are also confused about this one only. And one more question: does Azure OpenAI have the channels like bot services? So I don't think so. I don't have. I don't. So we have. I think Azure will tell you in the after this session. So yes, I think so. We have the bot services in the different. So we have the, already said that already we have the conversational method or it's like friendly method. So we have the different concepts of the bot services as well. So and one more thing. So everyone has to understand that. So A capabilities and everything. Everyone has bother about the A. So one thing we have to analyze that AI is a tool only. We have to use it in a proper manner. Okay. So we don't bother about AI will rule the future endors and whatever it may be. We cannot bother about it. Okay. So AI is a tool. We have to use it in a proper manner. That's all. Yeah. So that's all, Frank. So anything you need to add?
No, no. Very good. Very good
Yeah.
presentation. Very clear.
Yes. Yes. So,
Um,
so
so
the
Dan is leaving you in the live.
yes, 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 yeah.
You
So
hit.
those who are joining from the those who, I mean all over the world, thank you so much. We have that I mean huge response for this show. Approximately 3,000 plus connections. I mean invitations are happening. So 100 plus 150 members are keep on watching this session and everything every time. So thank you so much, Dan and Frank, especially Azhar. So thank you so much for your time to be here. So looking forward to tomorrow, Azure A and so and one more thing I had to add you everyone every Friday. I mean in India in Saturday early morning 12:30 a.m. So we have the Azure A show. Please feel to reach out us. Feel free to join with us. And here we have Dan and Frank is there. So that's all for today's session. Thank you so much once again. Thank you, joining. Jai Hind. Yeah. So anything you want to add, Frank?
No, that's very good. Um,
Yeah.
join us tomorrow for the Azure and AI show.
Yes,
Every
of course.
Friday.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I leave you hit the stop button because Dan had to step out there.
So can I end the stream?
Yeah. In the
Yeah.
screen. Yeah.
Yes.